Right, so Leicester 1, Spurs 1. That ended the weekend of Premier League games. It was a very, very good week to be back, I must say. It was a perfect weekend for us. And the games were good. The games were good as well. You know, good seeing Ipswich back. But today, in this video, we're going to talk about Leicester versus Spurs. Now, Leicester drew 1-1. And Spurs, I think, in the first half played brilliant football, wonderful football. Should have been 2 or 3-0 up. If they just had some killer instincts in front of goal, they would have killed that game. You know, they went in front deservedly through Maddison, you know, setting up Pedro Porro, great header. Porro and Udogie are so good going forward, so good. And Maddison, I think anyone who doesn't rate James Maddison still needs to go and reevaluate their life. He is absolutely outstanding. What a ball for Pedro Porro, and Spurs looked unbelievable. And then they threw the game. Once again, we're talking about a Spurs team throwing a game away or throwing something away, and they've only got themselves to blame. It was a capitulation. But the football in the first half was great, so that's the positives. You know, played very well. How many more mistakes is Romero going to keep making before Spurs fans stop making excuses for him? This guy is shocking. He has got all the tools. I keep hearing he's got all the tools to being a great centre-back. I could have the tools to go and fix something in my fucking garden. Doesn't mean I'm going to be Bob the Builder, does it? Do you know what I mean? Anyone can have the tools. Can you use those tools? He can't. He's going to let you down constantly. This guy is just a liability. He either does something really rash or he just switches off. He's not there. Mentally, this guy is a liability, and I'm sick of the excuses for him. That marking for the Vardy goal was embarrassing. Porro and Udogie, I can understand not being good defensively, because, newsflash, in this Ange system, I don't know whether it's the system or if it's them two as players, Udogie and Porro cannot defend. Fact. If you don't like it, fuck off. Seriously. Because the truth hurts. They cannot defend. And I don't know whether it's the system. And I love Ange. I think Ange is an unbelievable manager, and I love everything about him. But he's got to fix that, because they're so good going forward, but defensively they are just a shambles. And I don't know whether it's them or if it's the system that doesn't suit them. But they can't defend. But back on Romero, honestly, he was atrocious for that marking, and that's cost Tottenham the game. It wasn't the only problem, because I think Spurs clearly on the wings have fallen short. Son is not the same player. You've got Brennan Johnson, who for me needs to be doing better. Maddison's putting chances on a plate for these guys, and that is why I said, and I got completely abused by you lot, because I said Spurs have spent over £100 million, and three of those 5 players are 18-year-old kids. One of them's Solanke, which is a great signing. The other one's Timo Werner. I don't really need to say any more about that. I like Timo Werner, but you know what you're getting with Timo Werner. He's Timo Werner. And the other 3 are 18-year-old kids. Tottenham needs some senior players. They needed some senior pros to grab that game and make sure, even if they weren't at the races going forward, they needed someone who was going to protect the game. And they had no one. They're a bunch of kids. That's what they are. And I've got to talk about the goalkeeper, Vicario. This guy as well is a fucking disgrace. What he done to that kid, Bergval, is just shocking. I don't see him shouting like that to Romero when Romero loses his man. Nah, he goes for the 18-year-old kid on his debut. And I feel sorry for that kid. That was poor from the goalkeeper. How can you dig him out like that? I know he made a mistake, but I tell you what, he was a bright spark when he came on. I think he's got something about him, this kid. But he's a kid. Where's the protection? Again, I love Ange, but he's got to protect these guys. I know it's game 1, but this is... All the teams around you made a statement. Villa won, Arsenal won, City won, even United won, Liverpool won. Where was your statement against a team who've just come up? All right, it's game 1, but you guys are on an absolute horrendous run in the league. Look at your form. You're planning for the future. What future? You came 5th last year. You got to finish higher. That's the name of the game. Like, what are you? What is Tottenham's plan? I don't get it. What, for these 18-year-olds in 5 years' time to come good. How about strengthen your team now? Your team is not the finished article now by a long shot. And again, I just thought Vicario and Romero summed up their performance today. Awful. Vicario's attitude and even the save he made when he bollocked Bergvall, made a meal of that as well. He overdone that for the cameras to say, oh, look at me, I'm having to dig my team out again. Honestly, if I was a Spurs fan, I would be fuming, because it's not good enough. And if you don't like what I'm saying, Andrew's got a plan. He might have a plan, but what I'm saying is right, and you don't want to admit it. And you gave me all that abuse a month ago. How about you win some games of football? How about you finish higher than 5th? Brilliant from Jamie Vardy. I feel bad. Leicester, fair play to Leicester. They done well in the second half as well. They really upped their game. But I think the game should have been out of sight, first of all. And second of all, the marking was atrocious. And Vardy nearly made it 2 as well. Whose side was that? Was that Bergvall's fault as well? I don't see Vicario digging Romero and Pedro Porro out. No, he goes for the kid. Disgrace. Yeah, great for Leicester. They play like that more often. I tell you what, Leicester might stay up. I put them to go down. But yeah, very good from Leicester. And as for Spurs, you're just proving my point even further. Buy some players, 2 more senior players, and protect those young kids. Because I tell you what, if they've got keepers shouting at them left, right and centre, what hope have we got? I don't think Spurs have got any leaders. I think they've got 0 leaders in that team, and they need them quick.